Hey Kinfolk, I am Brandy and today is day 41. We're almost done. I have shared lessons that I am learning during my life over the past 41 days. I'm going to do it today and then one more day and then I'll be 42. I'll be 42 and I'll stop this. But the last 2 days are a bit different. There are lessons. They are lessons, yes, but it's a bit different. So today I actually want to share something, and I have been completely transparent in all of these videos in one form or another. I pray that I have provided motivation. I pray that I have encouraged you all to just consider or reconsider some things. I pray that y'all are praying with me for me, because again, this is still not easy. Even though I'm at day 41, like, there is still just that nagging feeling that, why am I doing this? Like, who cares? But again, I keep telling myself that no, we're gonna finish. We're gonna finish this. So I want to share something. I wrote a book. I wrote a book. In 2023, yes, I prayed, and I was in New Jersey, had been there for several months, was applying for jobs, but the jobs that I was interviewed for, I wasn't being paid enough to put my kids in daycare and pay that exorbitant fee and work on somebody's job. It just didn't make sense. So I prayed and I asked God, what am I supposed to do? Do I go back to school? I was studying to possibly go back to school at that time as well. Do I go to school? Do I get a job? What should I do? And I prayed to him July 1 and I asked this question. And July 2, and I was actually filming a personal video, I knew God spoke, and he told me to write a book and gave me the idea for the book, everything. So I finished writing it. I was able to pitch it to a publisher. I wasn't chosen because they had a competition that they were choosing 2 new authors to publish their book, and they were going to do everything for free for them. I wasn't chosen, and publishing is really expensive and I can't afford it. Again, I haven't had a job since 2020, the end of 2022, when I moved to New Jersey. So I finished it. I wrote a book, and I'm so excited, and I feel in my spirit, somebody might see this video and they be like, sure, so everybody write books. Like, my little sister, cousin, nephew, auntie, grandma wrote a book and she can't even read, but that's wonderful. Like, I hope you bought it. But this is the first time I have written a book, and to sit down over a year, for over 1 year, and to develop characters, to develop a plot, and to also not lose track of me worshiping God through it all. 90,000 words were typed and they're on my computer right now, and I'm actually editing it. Now, I am not a writer. I did not major in English. I don't know if my commas are in the right spots. I don't know. I guess I can kind of tell if it's a run-on sentence a little bit. Like, I am not a writer, but I wrote a book, okay? I am not an editor, but I'm editing a book because I have been reading books my whole life. And when I was younger, I've been reading my whole life, but the things that I have been reading, it hasn't been good for me, especially at certain ages. I shouldn't have been reading Zane when I was a teenager, period. I should not have been reading sexually charged books, novels at a young age. And I can remember doing that. And I can remember not just doing it, but flaunting it. Like, having my book with me when I was in school, and everybody else had it, like had, you know, copies of their books. So it was like not a big deal. But when I decided to get closer to God, the erotic literature is something that I had to give up. And it was so funny because I'm like, but it's real good storylines. Like the stories are amazing. And I didn't look at it like, oh, this is porn. I didn't think that what I was reading was pornographic, because I guess in my mind, porn was just like, you get right to it. You know, I thought like the like movies, and I don't really watch pornography, but like movies, like I just thought they supposed to get right to it, right? But no, it was like these were like, again, character development, plot development, amazing. But when it got to the parts where sex was involved, it was extremely graphic, and so all of that stuff got into my spirit, and it was blocking me from hearing the voice of God. It was blocking me from growing in God the way I wanted to. So I had to stop. But it's like, I still like to read. So it's like, what am I supposed to read now? So I found a lot of authors. There are so many authors. I can list some if y'all are interested. But this book is me contributing to that line of literature. So I wrote a book. I'm editing a book, and it's been very rocky. As I said, I started this in 2023, and now it's 2025. So it's 2 years later, and it's been just really, really rocky. Very, like, me being uncertain. Like, Lord, did you really say that? You know, just uncertainty in my skills and my abilities. Again, this is not my wheelhouse. So I had to look to the Bible, and I thought about Peter. Peter is one of the apostles, one of the disciples who most people know about Peter. Most people know about everything, you know, like most things about Peter. And he's probably one of the most devoted and enthusiastic disciples. And I will say, when I think about Peter, I just think like Peter always wanted to do like his best. He always wanted to do like good works. He always wanted to be a good disciple, I feel, like in everything, right? So when you talk about Peter, when Jesus told his disciples, like, hey, you know, they're gonna kill me, and this is what's gonna happen, and Peter like, no it ain't. There ain't nobody gonna touch you, Jesus. And Jesus be like, man, Peter goes, you don't even know what you're saying. And Peter, for him to follow Jesus after he was taken away, after he was captured, he was made a prisoner, Peter followed Jesus to where he was, because he wanted to be close. That was his Jesus. That was that was his rabbi. That was Jesus. So he always wanted to be close. When they came to get him, before they captured him and took him away, it was Peter who came with a sword, and he's like trying to defend Jesus. Like, Peter was always the one who wanted to be a good disciple. I feel that's how I see Peter. And so, of course, there's a story where I'm just going to read it. This is Matthew chapter 14. And this is after Jesus fed 5,000 plus people, and he sent them away. So Matthew 14 verse 23 says, after dismissing the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. That's Jesus. Well into the night, he was there alone. Meanwhile, the boat was already some distance from land, battered by the waves, because the wind was against them. Jesus came toward them, walking on the sea very early in the morning. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. Immediately, Jesus spoke to them. "Have courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter answered him, "command me to come to you on the water. He said, come. And climbing out of the boat, Peter started walking on the water and came toward Jesus. This story right here, I think it further illustrates how badly Peter wanted to be a good disciple. Lord, if it's you, he had full faith that if this is my Jesus, if this is my leader, if this is my rabbi who I just saw multiply a small portion of food and feed thousands, if it's you, then I should be able to do what you do, what you're doing right now. I should be able to walk on water. And he asked permission, and God, Jesus, gave him permission, and he did it. He got out of a boat. He stood up. Now, Peter is a fisherman, so he know good and darn well that water cannot support him, but he had so much faith because he saw his rabbi do it. And mind you, Jesus had already given his disciples power to be able to go out and heal the sick, raise the dead, exorcise demons from people or evil spirits from people. So he knew what Jesus' power working in him could do. And now he's walking on water to Jesus. And I feel like on a very, 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 very small scale, me writing a book is me trying to walk on water, me trying to follow Peter's example and walk on water. And I know, and when we tell this story, or at least every time I've heard, or when this story is told, people always get to the point, but then he took his eyes off Jesus and then he started sinking. Yes, that did happen. And Jesus was right there to save him. And then it didn't say that Jesus carried him back. So that means that they had to walk back together. They had to walk back together to the boat. So during these 2 years of me writing this novel, there have been plenty of times when I've taken my eyes off Jesus and I've doubted his ability to work through me, if I'm being honest. Because it's not me. As I said, I don't have the skills, I don't have the training to write a novel. But it's done, it's written. And I don't have the skills, I don't have the training to edit a novel, but I'm actively doing it. I don't have the skills, I don't have the training to create a cover of a book, but I'm even researching how to do that because, again, I can't afford to go through a publishing house to get this done. So the same Holy Spirit who worked through me to write the novel, I'm depending on that same Holy Spirit to work through me to edit the novel and then to create a cover art for it. Help me learn this program, help me create cover art. And I was so hesitant to share this because I'm only on chapter 13. And it's so funny, I told my daughter that, like, I'm really hesitating recording this video because I'm only on chapter 13, and she's like, wow, mommy, my tribe, she's like, wow, mommy, you've gotten really far. Like, you've done a really good job. You're almost there. I didn't see it like that, but my daughter had to point it out to me, like, you're almost there, mommy. So I guess this is me being completely open, completely transparent, completely vulnerable, saying I wrote a book, I'm editing a book, and I will post updates on my progress, not on here, but on my Facebook page, which I'll link in the description if anybody is interested in following me there to see how this unfolds. But I am trying to walk on my own water. That's the lesson for today. Walk on water. So this is me trying to walk on water. I'm not going to do it the way Peter did it, because Jesus is no longer walking on this earth, and that's not that's not the challenge, dare I say, that I have right now, but this is me. This is me trying to do what Peter did, do the impossible in my eyes, and walk on water. So I would love for you all to continue to follow my journey, and I will come back on here and I will read some like snippets from the book at a certain point, probably when I get closer to the everything being done, because I want you all to hear it and see if you like it. So that's the lesson for today. I shared my testimony, or what I'm doing right now. But yeah, it is a testimony. I don't want to wait until everything is said and done to say like, oh yeah, now let me tell you about my testimony. No, y'all are just living it with me real time. So thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for staying and watching this long video. I'm so sorry it was so long. I just wanted to share. I wanted to share what I'm doing in my next step. So yeah, when I turn 42, as I go through the year, that's what I'll be working on as I implement all of these lessons that we have gone through over the last 41 days. So one more day, y'all. One more day. That's it.